This here is a true story about crossing the pond at night.
Greetings! Sticks here from So There I Was. And this week, you can expect to hear this story on So There I Was.
Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that. Thanks.
At the time, we were doing the Aviate-B, the Y-Aviate-B ski jump. We were doing the LHA shipboard compatibility test. And so it was all those things. It was a wonderful time to be a test pilot there. It was just, the timing was just very fortunate for me.
We did the pre-chat. You were telling me a little bit about some of the ski jumps. Was it the 15-degree one you said looked like you were running at a wall?
It was. It sounds like you say 12 degrees, 15 degrees. I mean, what can the difference be? Well, visually, it looks like a wall. I got to fly the 15-degree jump, never got back to the U.S. But John Farley, who was the chief test pilot for Hawker Siddeley, he wanted to fly the YAV-8, and they struck up a deal that they would send me over to Farnborough in 1978, and I would fly off the 15-degree ski jump. And I think I sent you that video. I had a small clip. That video was interesting only because it was you could see what kind of weather they flew test flights in the UK. I think I popped into it 200 feet off the ski jump. It was bad enough to fly into the wall, but then you're in the weather. But anyway, it was what the ski jump did is it shortened your deck run by about 1/3. It was a 300-foot run that I made on that particular flight, and that would have required 900 feet off the ship, which we didn't have any ships at 900 feet.
Right.
And so anyway, and the other thing it did was it rotated you to the right attitude. So it was handling qualities wise, it was an improvement. Obviously, the point where you lower the nozzles, and that's changing a lot of things, that is a hazardous part of the flight. And so it increased the safety because at that point where something could go wrong, you actually had a fairly steep climb. So to set up the ejection parameters, so it increased safety, it increased performance, and improved the flying quality. So across the board, it was good. The reason it was never incorporated, I think, into the U.S. ships was the U.S. ships, the amphibs, are, as you well know, are all pretty top heavy. They have round hulls, they have very shallow draft because they want to get in, the amphibs want to get in close to the shoreline.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so they can be quite unstable or close to unstable. That's a tremendous amount of weight to put a ski jump on top. On the deck. The other thing, complaint about it was you don't always have Harriers or V-stall. And it takes up a couple of spots. So you're going to have fewer helicopters. And the last thing was it decreased the field of view for the captain over the bow, which I thought was kind of cosmetic.
Right.
But I had it fixed to all that, but it was roundly turned down. I think if you did kind of an erector set with guy wires and things like that, you could greatly reduce the weight. You could see through it. You could only have to put it up when you're taking Harriers aboard, so it would become roll equipment, and it would be much lighter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, regardless of what your loadout is in terms of bombs, you're not going to change the distance of the outriggers. You're not going to change the distance of the nose gear and the main gear.
Right.
So that erector set would just be grooves, and you could set up the airplane. And I thought it would have been an improvement, but there's a lot of resistance to improving the amphibs because the fleet for the Navy, you don't make admiral by running an amphib. You do with the big deck.
Sure.
And so that is really the diamond of their fleet, and anything that detracts from that or anything that might be a suitable substitute is a challenge to big deck Navy.
Take off from the carrier someday before I die. Strap that Viper to catapult and watch that sucker fly.
Well, if you like that story, you can check us out at sothereiwas.us. There are currently nearly 100 episodes for you to choose from, with some absolutely amazing stories. You can download the podcast at Apple Podcast, Spotify, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on Facebook and here on YouTube. I guarantee you will be hooked. So, till next time, not sit on the ejection seat handle and do not let go of that collective.
Never have to flare. You got